I think everybody wants to feel like what they do is important. I certainly do. And for a long time, for as long as I could remember, what I wanted to do was to be a lawyer. And in a young age, you don't really know what that means. But as I got older, the idea of what it meant to be an important lawyer took on a very specific shape. Being an important lawyer meant being a big law lawyer. It meant being a lawyer who works at a big firm, in a big building, in a big city, with big clients, making big money, all those kind of things. I think you're familiar generally with what I mean. And I had been raised and groomed to fill that role, to take that shape. And if you look at my resume up until about a couple years ago, you would see the resume of somebody who was planning on taking that shape. Well, on the day that I moved into to my first apartment with my wife and 2 daughters, after 6 years of practicing in big law-style law firms, I came to the conclusion that that life was not for me. And here I was with a deed for a house, and maintenance bills to come, and school bills on the way, and little girls to think of, and I had no idea what I was going to do next. I was open to the possibility that I would never practice law again. I was lost. And so I turned for help. The only place that anyone can turn, the only place that many of us turn for help in our generation, YouTube was my rabbi. I started with, the self-help motivational speakers. What did Tony Robbins have to say on the situation? What did Oprah think? What about Deepak? And I came across one clip by someone named Rabbi Twersky, who said that when you're going through a period of growth in your life, you grow like a lobster. He said, a lobster has a hard shell and a soft body, and it knows that the shell has become too small when it feels the pressure of its skin up against the shell. And so it finds a nice rock to hide under so that it could shed its shell and grow out a new and bigger one. And I took that message to mean, hang in there. You're going through a period of growth and things are going to be okay. But in the back of my head, what I was really thinking was, that's all well and good for the lobster. The lobster knows what shape its shell is supposed to be. And I thought I knew my shape, and now I have no idea. Well, the good news is that no matter what kind of crisis you're going through, life does not stop for you. And so there were things I had to do no matter what. There were daughters to take care of. There was a house to clean. There were dishes to clean. There was a wife who was coming home from a job who probably wanted a hot meal. And so I devoted myself to the art of being a stay-at-home dad. And after that, I started going out into the community. My kids went to school, so I started meeting the other parents and some of the great people here at the Y who work at the Y. And they took me in, and they didn't judge me, and they gave me time and space to figure out my next move. And I also started hanging around a lot at the office of the 86-year-old Jewish lawyer who did my closing and who had been very kind to me during that transitional period of my life. And he got me to start volunteering in an organization called Kiwanis. And one night at a meeting, he showed up, and he looked uncharacteristically upset. And I said, "What's wrong?" And he said, "I have a big problem. I have a deposition tomorrow, and I have no litigator to cover it." needless to say, I took him up on it. I took the deposition, and then I took the case, and then I won the case. And in working on the case, I met his associate, who is a young man closer to my age, and we really hit it off. And with our mentor's blessing, we started our own firm here in Riverdale. And I cannot express to you the kindness and support that we have been shown in this town, starting from all the other moms who helped me watch my kids when I had to stay late for a meeting, to the people who offered me Shabbat dinner when they knew that I didn't have time to cook, to the other attorneys who referred me cases and gave me office space and introduced me to the right people and all those kinds of things, and to my wife, who keeps working that big law job while I try to get our experiment off the ground. And of course, my partner and my mentor, who are so patient with me and so generous and kind. So now I don't worry so much about whether or not my practice is important, because I know it's important, because when I look at my daughters and their smile when I pick them up from school, I know that to them I'm important. And when I see my clients walking down the street waving hello, I know that to them I am important. And I don't worry so much about what the shape of my shell should be, because to the extent I have a shell, it's a shell that has no shape. Thank you.